Evening. Hello. Hi.
Hello. Hello,
Hi.
everyone in the chat.
Hi.
Pink
Hi.
hand wave. That's what's showing
Yes.
up on StreamYard.
Uh-huh. Um, hi. I put the invite out to a couple of my pals and Rusty decided to join me. Um,
Yep.
I impromptu
I love
stream,
goths.
kind of short probably, but the Alberta government today dropped some crazy news, so I want to talk about it. Also, I am currently dog sitting, and you might be able to hear Sadie barking. So, yeah. But yeah, I
You're
just wanted to
welcome.
talk about what happened in the Alberta government today, um, and some announcements that were released by the premier. So, a little background: Alberta's premier is Danielle Smith. She's the 19th premier of Alberta, the first or the third woman to hold the office. Can you hear Sadie?
Yeah. She's telling her political opinions as well.
Yes. I'm gonna let her outside. Sorry. Be right back.
No worries. I'll man the chat. So from what I understand, this is a very conservative leaning woman. Radical was filling me in beforehand because I don't know a lot about Canadian
I'm here. I'm
politics.
here. I'm
But
here.
welcome back. I said that she was conservative, like she was a very conservative woman. This is her, right?
Yes, she's super
Yeah.
conservative. She's with the United Conservative Party, which is like, if there's one other party that's a little bit further right than theirs, but not by much.
Mm,
She's actually just did an event with Tucker Carlson and Jordan Peterson, like super, super right wing, blah, blah, blah.
mm.
Anyway, today she announced some legislation that's coming into effect in Alberta. And so I just want to go over a article from the CBC that talks about what is going to come into effect here.
Okay.
So let me just whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. Not get rid of poor Rusty. How do I just screen share? Oh, there we go. Jeez Louise. How many times have I done this in my life?
It's right, Grandma. There's always room for learn.
Okay. So Alberta Premier says legislation on gender policies for children and youth are coming this fall. So, yes. Let's see here. So, Alberta Premier Danielle Smith says her government will introduce legislation this fall to support her planned policy changes affecting transgender and non binary youth and adults. At a news conference Thursday, Smith defended her rationale for planning to restrict healthcare options for youth and inform parents of any name and gender identity changes students request at school.
Healthcare
I know.
option. It's so
For the record,
deceptive.
this platform, the CBC, is extremely left, extremely liberal, and extremely captured by the gender stuff. So
Yeah. No, I hate it. It's the most common, way that, affirming care, health care. And I'm like, it's about as healthy as, I don't know, shooting up heroin. Let's be real here.
Yeah. But she said, so yeah, I'm confident that Albertans do not want children to make irreversible decisions that impact their reproductive health, Smith said.
Ugh, why is she
I'm
focusing
confident that they don't think those are child's decisions to make, that those are adult decisions to make. Asked if she would resort to use the notwithstanding clause, as Saskatchewan's government has done, to circumvent parts of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, Smith says she hopes it doesn't come to that. She said, we're putting this forward with the best interests of the child in mind.
What's the Charters of Rights and Freedoms?
So it's like, I don't know what your equivalent is. In the United States, it would be the Constitution. It's
right,
like
yeah.
the government's agreement that this is what our country believes in and stands for, and these are the rights of its citizens.
Okay, yep. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have a constitution as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's just called that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so there's the Charter of Rights and Freedoms applies to Canadians Canada-wide, but each individual province has their own sort of things too. Okay, so in a 7-minute video posted to social media Wednesday afternoon, Smith announced that her United Conservative Party government will implement a slate of new policies and guidelines relating to transgender young people and other children and youth. So among the measures, top and bottom gender affirming surgeries will be banned for minors aged 17 and under.
Again,
So,
I wish they would say what they fucking are.
I know.
Like, you know, like,
Mastectomies
yeah.
and-
Yeah. Dumb mastectomies and gosh, I don't know, what are they called? Like phalloplasty and
Yeah.
uh
Vaginoplasty.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is
So
that
no
like
more
yeah.
surgeries of any kind for children under the age of 18.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Normal.
Puberty blockers and hormone replacement therapy for gender affirmation will not be permitted for children aged 15 and under. Youth's
Could go
age,
harder, but yes.
yeah. Youth's age, I mean, but considering that people are
Mm.
putting their children on these things at 11, like this is
Yeah, it's an improvement. It's more time for the kid to think about it
Yep.
beforehand, to get some hobbies and a personality before they do that.
Yep.
Mhm.
Youths age 16 to 17 will be permitted to start hormone therapies for gender affirmation as long as they are deemed mature enough and have parental, physician, and psychologist approval. Where it used to just be, hey, I'm trans, okay, here's your prescription.
Yeah,
Now
I think there
they'll
should
have-
be safeguarding. Like, come
Mhm.
on, bare minimum.
Yep. This one is what a lot of people are really up in arms about.
Mhm.
Parental notification and consent will be required for a school to alter the name or pronouns of any child under age 15. Students who are 16 or 17 won't need permission, but schools will need to let their parents know first.
I
So
think that's normal.
People are really mad about this one.
I think that's normal. Like, you know, the kid, like, they're legal guardians. They have to know these things.
Right.
You know, if you're bold enough to like change it on a document at the school, then your legal guardian has to know. Like it,
Yeah.
like they still have to give them like permission slips to go on like excursions and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Could you imagine if they're like, yeah, they just don't have to do that now.
Right.
You know?
Well, and that's kind of related to what also is happening. So parents will have to opt in their children every time a teacher plans to teach about gender identity, sexual orientation, or sexuality.
I hate that they're grouped together.
I know. I know. Yeah, that's the one thing that's kind of shitty,
but considering how entrenched the teaching about sexuality is with gender stuff, honestly, I'm gonna say it's the lesser of two evils.
Right.
Because they're probably not being like, you know, homosexuality is being exclusively attracted to the same sex. They're probably not doing that.
Correct.
So yeah.
So all third-party teaching materials related to these topics have to be approved by the Education Ministry. And this one, transgender women will be banned from competing in women's sports leagues.
Get them out.
I know.
Boss move.
I know. They said they'll work with leagues to set up co-ed or gender-neutral divisions for sports, but no more boys and men in women's and girls' sports.
Good. Crazy how it's not an
Yeah.
issue of like trans men, quote, in like men's sports. Like it's a one-way issue somehow. And I mean, I feel like that's what had happened if they like establish like co-ed sporting teams. Like it's just going to be men dominant. It's just going to be like men, shit men, and then women. But I would prefer that. So women get the chance to compete properly.
Yep. So yeah, that was the crux of all of the announcements that are coming. I watched the full video from the premiere. I'll link it in the description box below if anyone wants to look at it. But as much as I don't like this woman as my premiere, I found her video to be very measured and compassionate. She also talked about that the Alberta government will be working on so the thing is this is about children pretty much. In her video announcement, she talked about like trans related quote unquote healthcare for adults will not be touched. Adults can do what they want with their bodies. It's fine. And she even said that the Alberta government is actively working to recruit surgeons who specialize in trans surgeries so that Albertans do not have to go to Quebec to have surgery done, which like, obviously I'm not for that, but like,
she's offering the grapevine or whatever it is, offering the olive branch rather, not the grapevine. Like she's
So like, yeah, she also talked about regarding to school stuff, like they want to implement programming for um, like specific family counseling for families going through a child who wants to transition.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
Yeah.
it's not that bad.
Yeah, that's honestly, considering the position that she's coming from, that's
Mhm.
pretty, like you said, pretty measured, pretty reasonable.
Yeah,
I mean, it is a woman rather than a man, so can expect a little bit more, but um
yeah,
like, I feel like women politicians have to be a lot more careful about
of
playing both
course.
sides. Like, no matter what part of the spectrum she is on, like, she has to have
Yeah,
like a more, I don't know, thoughtful approach to things. But yeah.
yeah. Um, Michelle asked, "Isn't the government going to be sued by whatever federal government we have?" Um, Probably
Can
not.
that happen?
Provinces are able to do a lot with a lot of room.
Hmm.
Um, and quite frankly, this premier, Danielle Smith, is like she wants to declare Alberta sovereign from the federal government.
Ooh.
So, like, anyway,
I remember reading that even like your different provinces have like different rating systems for like film and stuff. I remember
hmm
reading that like Quebec is always different from the others. So like
yeah,
what other people would call like a, teenagers and above can watch this movie, Quebec's often like, nah, kids can see it, it'll be right.
yeah, yeah. Provinces do have a lot of like freedom within the charter,
Hmm.
but yeah. So those are the highlights. So she said at this press conference today that the science around the safety of puberty blockers and hormone therapy in children is not settled, and that
Hmm.
other jurisdictions are moving away from recommending their use. Yes.
Yeah. I hate
Quebec
when they
is
say the
not
science is
Canadian
settled.
Texas. Alberta is Canadian Texas. We're cowboys and oil and Christians.
Ooh. What is
um,
Quebec then? Since everything has to be related back to American states, I
right.
guess.
It's its own thing, man. It's France light.
Ooh.
LITE. They're their own thing. Um, yeah, so let's see here.
The science is not settled, I think you last
Yeah,
left on.
there's
Yeah,
just
I
some
hate it when they
quotes
say
from
that it
people, blah,
is.
blah, blah. So opponents seek grounds for legal challenge. Oh, but wanting to separate. Yeah, Quebec really wants to.
Oh.
There's a large contingency in Quebec that wants to become their own country, but they're like landlocked in
Oh.
the middle of Canada, like,
Yeah, kind of Orkies.
and they want to continue to use the Canadian dollar and the Canadian economy and the Canadian highways and the Canadian trade agreements, but to be their own governing country.
Kind of like teenage mindset there.
Yeah, yeah,
It's just
fair
like, I want
enough.
to make my own rules, mom, but can you still pay rent, and also can you do my laundry, and
Yeah,
can you still take me to school?
yeah. So yeah, some opponents have things to say about this. Calgary
Mhm.
psychiatrist Dr. Joe Raish, who sees gender diverse youth and adult patients, said prescribing puberty blocking medication to youth helps prevent the irreversible development of some characteristics.
You
That
mean
is
it
the
stops
point.
puberty?
That's the
Like, yeah,
point. That's why it's bad. That's the
yeah, that doesn't. That's the like.
like
This professional says that smoking helps prevent lung expansion. Like, what? Yeah, that's
like
why it's bad.
it's so scary to think of an 11-year-old going on a puberty blocker for like
Yeah,
7 years and then being like an 18-year-old and they have the body development of an 11-year-old. Like that's
yeah, and
really
that's
fucked
like
up and
not
scary.
not even just like on a like it's socially stunting. Like their
Right.
bones haven't grown. Like there's specific like developments that need to happen, and isn't like the most common puberty blocker Lupron, like
Yeah,
the thing that
Lupron.
they use for cancer patients. It's like feels like very different uses, like
Yeah.
very extreme sort of. I don't know. It's fucked up.
Yeah. This gets me. Wow. Withholding the medication from children 15 years and younger is forcing them to undergo a puberty that may not necessarily align with their gender identity. And it's going to be extremely unsettling, extremely dysphoric for them. Like,
Okay, but
like,
once you're 20, you get over it. Like, that's just being a
right,
teenager. It
right.
sucks.
But okay, you could reword this sentence with like, forcing anorexics to not stop eating is going to be
Hmm.
extremely unsettling for them. Yeah, because
Yeah.
they are mentally ill. They need help and support, not enabling.
Yeah, forcing suicidal teenagers to not, I don't know, self-depreciate or like idealize suicide is going to be
Yeah.
uncomfortable with them. Yeah. Yeah. It's
Oh,
good. You grow from discomfort. Like literally, so many like it's so I'm so special. My
right.
discomfort is worse than yours. It's just like, yeah, I remember being a teenager. It fucking sucked. You feel shit for a while. There's different
Yes.
ways to alleviate this. Like, obviously, misogyny is like a big component, but there is just part of it that just kind of fucking sucks
Right.
because your
And
brain
we all
is
had to go through it, and our parents went through it, and our grandparents went through it. And like
exactly.
your
And then
adolescence is hard.
it's like a bonding experience when you come out the other side. It's just like, you don't know everything in your 20s, but thank God I'm not 14 again. You only have to be 14 once.
Right.
Whew. Oh my God. I would never go back.
No kidding. I like this buzzword here, though, that could lead to depression, anxiety, and increased thoughts of suicide. It's like always the fear mongering.
Lots of things can lead to that. Teens had suicidal thoughts before like trans was big.
Hmm.
Next, um,
Yeah.
why
Like,
not address these things than just it's just like, well, if we don't give them what they want, they'll commit suicide. Okay, well, what else can we do?
right. Maybe
Seem
give them support and emotional regulation and safe
yeah.
communities and freedom from poverty and good education and opportunity. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we don't need to be altering these children's bodies. There's a lot of other stuff
No,
we can be doing.
there's nothing wrong with their bodies ever. It doesn't matter how dysphoric they are. There is nothing
Hmm.
wrong with the body that you're in. It's an illness of the mind. You are treating a symptom.
Yeah.
It just,
Yeah.
ugh, these people.
So, Bennett Jensen, director of legal for EGAL Canada. EGAL is like the national LGBT organization.
Uh, okay.
Um, says the organization will be ready to fight the Alberta policies in court once they are official. There's your answer, Michelle.
Oh
um,
boy.
Jensen says the group is likely to argue policies requiring parent permission for pronoun and name change violate students' rights to be free from cruel and unusual treatment from the state.
What? They're parents of the state now? Okay.
Right, like when you're 18, you can change your name. It costs
Yeah.
$250 in Alberta.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
but
it's about 300 here in Australia.
until you're 18, you got a name that your parents gave you, and
Yeah.
that's how it is.
That's the right for everybody. And it's like, then you can knock yourself out, call yourself anything. It's like, there's a reason that children aren't allowed to legally change their names because it'd be like, my name's Naruto and I'm hot dogs and I'm like,
Right.
like,
Batman, like,
yeah. Or like, Sir Batman. It's like, can you imagine? It's so, I don't know. It's just enabling, I don't know,
yeah.
teenage behavior.
Yeah, so this is the most blatant regression of legal protections for 2S LGBTQI people in our country's history.
Don't fucking swear at me with that shit. Don't fucking.
I guess that's him. That's the director, Bennett Jensen.
Okay.
So University of Calgary law professor Jennifer Koshin sees other potential legal snags with Smith's proposals. There is no firm age at which doctors deem youth mature enough to make their own medical decisions. Smith's proposal
Almost like we have, like, almost like that's why we have 18.
right. Like, how come you can not make the decision to drink alcohol or you cannot make the decision to serve in your country's military until you're 18, but
and that's not a legal
having
snag.
your breasts removed is fine? What?
Yeah. It's just like there's piercings you can't get until you're
Right.
18, like for a good reason. Like where's the difference? Like, I would even argue that I think the age of adulthood should be pushed up, because I don't think 18-year-olds are really that different from 15-year-olds. But that is the age of consent. Like, we made that. That's why it's there.
Yeah.
There's no legal snag. You just don't like it.
It's wild.
Mm-hmm.
So it says the premier's video drew immediate condemnation from advocates for transgender youth and the wider LGBTQ community, but the heads of a parents' rights group called Parents for Choice in Education called it reasonable. I think it's reasonable too, and I'm like a lefty,
Yeah.
So Jason Schilling, president of the Alberta Teachers Association, said teachers are primarily concerned about the safety of their most vulnerable students. We're concerned about the chilling effect placed on classrooms and schools, impacting our ability to provide safe, caring, and inclusive spaces for all students. How, though? You can still be a support for that student. You can still be someone for them to talk to. You can still be like...
Yeah. School guidance counselors exist.
Like, if you're like freaking out about not being allowed to sneak around about children, like...
It's a bit sus.
Just a little.
Dragon Fox said the age would be 30 for
30?
adulthood if I ruled the world. Damn.
We're concerned about how students may feel forced to suppress their identities and to be afraid of reaching out to teachers as an avenue of support. I mean, I get that.
Is that really something you should be reaching out to a teacher for, though?
I get it in some ways, but also, like, I feel like the families and parents deserve to be involved in what their children are going through. And frankly, in the video that Danielle Smith posted today, she did talk about because parents need to be notified of this stuff. She did talk about how if there are, instances of abuse or like potential harm to children, like absolutely all of the protections offered by the children's services organizations would be stepping in. Like,
because that'd be the normal protocol, because a kid can already go to a teacher and say, like, I'm not safe at home, or something is happening, and that triggers an investigation. So if they're worried about that, I feel like that'd be the protocol. It feels like they're trying to piggyback off of, I mean, what else is new? Piggyback off of it'd be the same if a really conservative family found out that their kid was gay. But it's just you don't put that on fucking school forms. School forms do not ask your sexuality. You just keep that shit to yourself.
Right.
If you know you're not safe, Be
in the closet like a scared teenager like the rest of us. Okay. So Rachel Notley, so she's the leader of the opposition, the NDP, the New Democratic Party, who I voted for in the most recent election, but they're pretty lefty, but lesser of the evils.
Yeah, you have to choose that way. That's how it is.
And she is the former premier of Alberta, actually. But
okay.
Anyway, she said Smith is taking choices away from gender diverse youth and their families and interfering with medical judgments best made by patients and healthcare workers. There has to be some kind of regulatory body. Like, you can't just do whatever the hell you want. There has to be some kind of regulation.
It's don't governments also set up other medical regulations as well? The things. Yeah, you can't do this to patients. You can't offer this to patients. You can't abuse patients this way. There is things set in law that doctors have to follow. They can't be I think it would be best if I could punch my patients a little bit. As a healthcare professional, that is what I deem best.
Right. Or medical judgments best made by patients and healthcare workers. If a patient comes to a doctor and says, I believe that I'm a one-armed person in a two-armed person body, I want you to remove one of my arms.
I see that
would not be permitted. That would not be permitted.
As a doctor, I can see that's distressing you. So yeah, let me get the bone saw.
Right. No one would allow that, and that would be there'd be a governing body regulating that. So how is this any different? It's the same.
Yeah, it's an appeal to authority while being no, we don't have to listen to your authority because it says that stuff that I don't like. But in every other case, I don't know. It's just.
I love this. Rachel Notley said, The decisions being made by Danielle Smith and her government are designed to further divide those who have been subjugated to misinformation and conspiracy theories generated by a wing of the United Conservative Party. Uh,
Pot meat kettle.
yeah. So last fall, United Conservative Party members voted overwhelmingly in favor of a non-binding policy recommending schools require the written consent of parents before changing the names and pronouns they use to address students 15 and younger. Sounds fine.
Yeah.
Members also approved a policy asking the government to ensure schools and third parties don't provide students inappropriate material, including sexually explicit, racist, or bigoted content. Okay, what's the problem with that?
Yeah.
So that's Danielle Smith. Oh, that's the end of the article.
Okay.
So yeah, I just wanted to like talk about all the craziness that was going on today and how people reacted to it because it was wild.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a step in the right direction, even if it's coming from a right-wing area. Like, again, it's very measured.
And like I said, I'll link her full 7-minute video in the description for anyone to watch if they want to. But I feel like she spoke very compassionately for the struggles that people experiencing dysphoria or whatever go through, and for what families deal with. But she was very clear that, like, she reiterated multiple times that it is not fair to girls and women to compete with those who have a biological advantage over them. And she said that multiple times, like she used the words biologically stronger. And it's like, yeah, like absolutely true. Like, I'm really glad to hear of this, that women and girls sports will be protected now.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's the biggest win out of it. It's just complete, like the other stuff is sort of like, this is very measured, this is very controlled. And then it's just like, nuh-uh, no go. This shit has to stop immediately, which is great. Really, really good.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't think it was that unreasonable.
No.
But, I will say, so now across the province in all of the cities, on Saturday, all of the big cities in the province are organizing rallies at their city's city hall for protesting these extreme measures.
So extreme.
And to protect trans kids.
See, when they say protect trans kids, it's fine. But when they're like, oh, protect the children is a right-wing dog whistle.
Right. Oh, good point, Rusty. Yeah. So there's going to be one in my city on Saturday. I will not be going, clearly.
Yeah, understandable.
But yeah, it's wild too, because like there's a person I know in real life here, where like him and his wife are like extremely lefty liberal, like extreme. He identifies as queer and polyamorous, but she identifies as straight and monogamous. So out of respect for his, I know. Out of respect for his wife, he doesn't explore his polyamory. But anyway,
but he thinks about it. My sexuality is thinking about cheating, but not doing it. But I tell my wife about it, so it's okay. Honey, I want to cheat on you so bad, but I wouldn't. But I'm thinking about it.
And anyway,
I love you.
They have 6 children, 3 girls, 3 boys. All 3 of their daughters are trans.
Interesting.
So they have 6 boys now.
I'm sure they do. I wonder if they treat their sons and daughters differently. I wonder if that influenced.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is that, like, anyway, they their oldest daughter is like, she's like 22 or 23, so she can do whatever she wants. But their youngest 2 daughters are 14 and 18, and both of them have been on puberty blockers since they were 11.
Fucking Christ. So does that mean the 15-year-old's gonna have to stop, or?
Oh, good point. No. Sorry. In the video, Danielle Smith did say that for those who are already undergoing treatment right now, like, they're not going to stop what's already begun.
Shame.
But yeah,
11.
Anyway, the point being, I saw this guy all over Twitter today,
Mhm.
or X, freaking the F out about all of this and like talking about
Lol.
transphobes and blah, blah, blah.
Lol. Stay mad.
And
Seethan Cope. Mr. thinks about cheating.
I know. And the thing that drives me a little bit crazy too is like, I've seen a lot of just tweets today about this being like, it astounds me that there's gay people who side with this legislation. And I'm like, but like gay and trans have nothing to do with each other. Like
Hmm.
it also, you know what else pisses me off? Oh my God, now I'm gonna rant.
Yeah, please, please,
Is
please,
when
please.
they
Radical
say shit like
rantings.
radical ramblings. I know, hello, welcome. When they say shit like, how can you be like gay and conservative? Like I'm not a conservative, but like there are gay conservatives. And it's
Hmm.
because being gay has nothing to do with politics. It is
Yep.
entirely about who you're sexually attracted to. So there can be conservative gay people and religious gay people and racist gay people. Like I hate that argument so much. Like, how can you
Oh,
be
me
gay and
too.
conservative, or how can you be gay and against this? It's like because
Mm.
because they treat being quote unquote gay or queer as a political stance, a political identity, and they can't fathom that those of us who are actually homosexual don't.
Yeah. I think it's only like confounded by the like the whole what everything gets grouped as like LGBTQI blah, 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 blah.
Hmm.
Like, and they're like the community and like the community feels this. It's like you're talking about so many fucking people. Like put a bunch of lesbians in a room and we're all going to disagree on certain things, you know?
Yeah,
Like it's so I get that one a lot as well where it's just like how
yeah.
can you be a lesbian who hates trans people? I'm like one, they're very hateable. Two, um two, my brain is really big. Three, lesbian is not a political identity.
Right. It's so
It's
ridiculous.
yeah, we don't have to. It's like no beliefs required, and it's just like I'm sure, like with I sort of pity sort of conservative gay people. I'm like, unfortunate, but like
Yeah,
I could see how that they would get to that point where like I mean there's like conservative women who've had like abortions, but like there's ways that the
yeah,
human mind will like rationalize like well this is
yeah,
different because I'm following these steps, so
yeah,
therefore I'm still in line with my beliefs. So if you're like a conservative gay, it's like well I don't know, I'm waiting till marriage, or like I'm not acting on my desires, or like I'm just going to modify conservative beliefs a little bit so I can fit in. It's just like there's also like, there's lots of like non-white conservatives as well, of all different races. It's just, you know, it's the same thing. I see the same thing where they're like, how can black women be against trans women being seen as women when you have faced discrimination also? It's like because they're
it's
women.
yeah, and
And it's different.
yeah. Well,
It's
and that's
real
how
discrimination. One, it's
uh-huh. And
sorry.
also like that's how you know that like being gay is like a real thing. It's because every single person from every kind of walk of life is gay.
Hmm.
Like I said, there's conservative gay people, there's Muslim gay people, there's Christian gay people, there's gay people in the most oppressed patriarchal religious countries in the world. Like,
Hmm.
but there are no conservative queers or trans people. There are no like that's how I know that like queer stuff is exclusively a leftist liberal
Yeah,
mindset
bullshit.
because it doesn't impact everyone. It's only the super extreme, crazy lefty liberals.
Yeah, and it's just like they may have come from conservative thinking, but like I think that's sort of like in line with like the horseshoe theory. It's just like you still think all the sexist, homophobic stuff, but you've just like changed the words, and now I don't know, now you care about the environment or socialism or whatever also, but
Yeah.
the gender stuff stays the same. Misogyny remains.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous.
Hmm.
And yeah, I don't know. So I don't know what's going to come of all of this. Like it was announced today that it will be coming into effect in 2024 at some
Hmm.
point. So I
Well, it
mean,
sounds good to
whatever.
me. Yeah, I
Yeah.
hope it's
Well, I wonder too what it will mean for self-declared gender because in Alberta, where I live, um,
mhm.
a person can declare whatever gender they want on their driver's license. Like they don't have to go through any kind of a process of any kind. They
Yeah.
can just say so. I wonder if any of that will be impacted.
Yeah, like I mean, self-identification is like the biggest, well, I guess like the most widespread problem. I feel like trans stuff would be a lot more tolerable if there were a lot more like checks and balances in place, but they don't want
Right.
any of that. They want just like complete free reign.
But the thing is, like, there used to be checks and balances, right? Like, I know in Alberta, it used to be the case that if a person wanted to transition, they had to be quote unquote living as their desired gender for 2 years, and they had to be on hormone replacement therapy for 1 year before they'd ever be considered for any kind of surgery or anything. And now
Yeah.
it's just like self-declared. And I'm like, how did we get from that to this?
Yeah. I guess because they realized that like everyone came to the same realization of like, well, this stipulation of like waiting time is kind of arbitrary, whereas, you know, I guess us two would say like, yeah, it's arbitrary because there shouldn't be surgery at all, whereas they're like, it's arbitrary, we should have surgery anytime we want. Yeah, like
Yeah. There's a great couple of comments I want to talk about here. Enlightened Female says, most trans-identified people fall into the queer ideology crowd. They always go on about how sexuality is fluid and can change, but trans identification is something you're born with.
Yep. They hate the born this way narrative until you say that trans is a choice.
Yeah, or until you say you're a lesbian.
Then you're a Nazi and you have to die.
Right. And then she continues to say, TRAs are trying to apply the truths of innate homosexuality to their trans identification, and it isn't logically consistent. So they get mad at us homosexuals, primarily lesbians, because misogyny. Yep.
Absolutely correct. Very well put, Enlightened Female. Thank you.
Anyway, yeah. How's your day shaping up? I know it's early there. Well, midday.
Yeah, it's nearly 1 p.m., so it's not too bad. I still can't sit or walk, so that hasn't changed yet. I did go to a doctor about it, but she unfortunately wasn't able to help lot. She was like, look, you're presenting with very typical symptoms of bulging discs, so we're probably not going to do an MRI because that's going to be expensive, and it's just going to tell us you have a bulging disc. Don't sit and stand, and see a physio. And I was like, okay, cool.
Are you going to do that though?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll see a physio. She'll probably just give me like core strengthening exercises and back strengthening exercises, which I've kind of been doing, but I guess guided by a professional will be better. But
well, you know, I had an issue with my back in February of 2022, where I was in like excruciating pain. Like I could not barely move. Like it was horrible. And I went to my doctor who suggested I go to a physio, and I did. And she gave me, you know, like different things to do. And I did them religiously, like she asked me to, 2 times a day. And it changed everything. Like my pain went away completely. And then when I went for my follow-up with her, she was like, oh my God, most of the time people actually don't do what I say to do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no,
people never do their exercises.
Yeah, I was determined to like fix it because it was brutal. And I'm like, this sucks. It hurts to do all this stuff, but I'm doing it because I don't want to live like this.
Oh yeah.
So,
no,
I wish the same
I'm
for
exactly
you.
the same. Oh yeah. I think it'll be a good call. It's just like being able to stand enough to like get there. Oh, thank you, Michelle.
Thanks, Michelle.
I'm sure it will. Sleep well.
Yeah.
Torontonian here.
Torontonian.
Is that what you guys call them?
Yeah, that's what they call themselves.
Because you're like you say like Trono, so it would be like Trononian.
No, you would say Torontonian, but not. You would never say Toronto.
Yeah.
The second someone says Toronto, we're like, oh, you're not from around here.
That gets you arrested. That is how I would say. I would like,
yeah, it's the same with you guys, Melbourne.
Yeah, Melbourne, Canberra,
or Cairns,
Brisbane, Cairns, Cairns.
Right. It's
just Cairns. Yeah.
Toronto and
Torana.
Not Calgary.
No, yeah, Calgary. Well, that sounds, I don't know, a bit dicky. Calgary sounds better.
Calgary. Yeah.
But it sounds so freaky when you say like Melbourne. Like it doesn't sound like. Yeah, it sounds your
Sounds
accent.
weird in my accent. Yeah.
Your accent should say Melbourne.
Melbourne.
It's sort of this. I feel the same way about saying Alabama. Like it feels like my brain wants to say Alabama, but
Alabama.
or like saying like dumbass. Like it feels. I feel like a Dorcas when I say it that way because I feel like it's meant to be said by an American. Be like you dumbass. But like I can't say dumb ass because it just sounds
some curse words just sound better in other accents, right?
Yeah.
Like how British people will say like twat.
Yeah, twat. Yep.
It just sounds better in their accent.
Or you twat.
Yeah.
We don't use twat a lot.
Oh, hello, Lee. We're probably gonna wrap up shortly, I think, but hi. Thanks for coming. I'm eating French fries.
Yes, Shannon, lots of work to do in Oz too, honestly. Ooh.
Yeah, anything in the news in Australia as far as gender nonsense?
I don't watch too close. Like, we don't even have a TV in our home.
Right.
So I don't keep like a strong track of it, but I know we're like pretty gendy considering we have like men playing in like women's soccer and football and oh hell yeah, Sonia, where you from? I'm a Queenslander originally.
Same flavor.
But I'm a Queenslander, but I'm living down in Adelaide, so I'll say chance, advance, plants, bathers instead of togs.
Togs.
Yeah, togs. Get your port, which is a bag. They're fucking crazy up in Queensland. They just be saying shit, and they always like the double O sound. Is like say I'm going to school. They're like I'm going to school. I'm going to school, and we might swim in the pool later. It's like oh my
that's
God,
like
dude.
super Manchurian.
Yeah. Pew.
That's funny.
Yes. She's near Rip. You're in Melbourne? Sorry to hear that. That's like the gendy capital.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah. Like I've had friends, like I guess ex-friends, go there. They'd been aware of like gender shit and been like, yeah, that's kind of crazy. They go to Melbourne, they come back, they're like, I'm they them now. I'm like, oh, okay, well, goodbye. Sorry about your brain tumor. Really sorry for your loss. Maybe move to Queensland and you'll be fixed. It'll make you feel better.
That's funny.
Yeah. Oh, don't recommend. Nobody, if you come to Australia, don't go to Melbourne. Just don't. Or Canberra, or Sydney. Just don't go to those ones. Come to Adelaide. It's nice. It's small. It's clean.
Interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't turf in Melbourne. Definitely not, Sonia. No.
I've never been to Australia. I've been to New Zealand though, but
wow,
my sister has been to Australia.
Where did she go?
Wants to go back. What? She went everywhere. Well, not everywhere.
Oh wow.
I mean, she went to. She spent most of her time in Sydney, but also went up to. How do you say it? Cans,
like a drink can.
So she went up to Cairns and
Cairns is beautiful.
I don't know.
It's absolutely gorgeous. Swam on the reef there. Wow.
She wants to go back, and she's like, "You should come if I go back." And I was like, "Maybe
you should. You could have a free place to stay here, but only if you're in Adelaide." I mean, like most people who, like young people who are like, "Oh, it's a hole. There's nothing to do," but I kind of like it. Oh, Shannon, nice, Great Barrier Reef, beautiful. I think I went about 24 years ago as well. Like I was only like 4 years old, but we went over like in a glass bottom boat and we got to, jump off in and like swim over the reef and there was just like big fish swimming around.
Yeah, my sister did that.
Yeah, it's just, it's amazing. Like that was one of my school camps too. I mean, it wasn't the Great Barrier Reef, but like we went to an island for a week. We were all like 9 years old. And one of the things we got to do was scuba diving.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was great. You should definitely move to Adelaide, Sonia. It's great. Public transport, everything's really close together. Everything was designed in a grid and not stupid like the rest of our country because, we were settled by convicts. So they just kind of like built stuff everywhere. They're just like, yeah, just put some shit here. Like Brisbane is fucking insane. It's just like, it's so hilly and nothing makes sense, and the public transport sucks, and it's really expensive, and everything's far away from each other, and it's ugly, and it smells
Boo.
bad. Don't like. Whereas Adelaide is nice and small. You can see, you could walk the entire like main central city in like I don't know, an hour.
Nice.
You just walk the, not the circumference, the perimeter.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, it's small. It's nice.
Nice. Are you doing anything this weekend? Oh no, you're back.
No, probably not. I'll probably just be working on Leasebound like normal.
Good.
Smile. I did get the second. I got like the second volume printed. I'm doing like a second run of the first print.
Right.
I'm going through a different company this time, and I'm getting a proof sent of volume 2, so that's probably going to be available soon. But I still have to do the whole like run around of like, you need to message me to like get the link to the shop, because there's assholes watching me who would report it in a heartbeat. But you know, if that's something you're interested in, ladies,
yeah, well, when you are ready to do that, let me know and we'll stream about it.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Hee. Yeah. Yeah, I'm dog sitting this weekend.
I know, with a very cute doggy.
Yeah, she's very cute. And then I am tomorrow's Friday. So I have to work tomorrow. And then on Saturday, I'm doing a drop-in visit on another dog. And then on Sunday, I'm doing a meet and greet for another dog. And then I go home on Monday. But this house has a hot tub outside in the backyard. And they said, go ahead and use it. So
would it be too cold? Like, isn't it snowing out there?
No, it's beautiful, actually. It was 14 degrees today.
Oh, yeah, beautiful. Okay, yeah, right. Okay.
And sunny. Yesterday was like 15.
Ugh, I think yesterday it's actually been pretty nice. We had like a small heat wave where it was like in the high 30s, 40s. Got to like 42. Ugh, it was disgusting, but it's been like a nice top of 24, 25. It's nice.
That's okay. That's all right. But when it was like a couple weeks ago, it was minus 53 here. So like
Celsius.
I'll take the plus 10.
Minus 53 Celsius.
Yeah, that's like minus 60 something Fahrenheit.
Holy shit. Holy fuck. How did you not just die?
I mean, some people do.
Yeah, true. I shouldn't be so flippant, but I could not live there. I would simply die. It barely gets to, like, you know, sometimes they were like, oh, it got to 0 during the night. And then everyone was like, yeah, it was too cold.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Little Aussies.
Thank you, Inline Female. Yeah, I would, like, we often say, like, like, if you prefer colder temperatures, you should go to, like, Tasmania because it's equivalent to, like, European or Canadian temperatures. And I'm like, I feel like those are very different.
Maybe like coastal Canada.
Yeah, in some.
Not landlocked Rocky Mountain Canada where I live.
Yeah, no, because it does snow in parts of Tasmania. Yeah. I remember it snowed once in Adelaide on top of one mountain.
Yeah,
in like a small patch, and it made the news though. Like, and people were like, "Oh, you got to go up to Mount Lofty quickly to see the small patch of snow." Just probably like just a mushy lump.
Right. Oh, so funny.
Yeah, we're so humble. Our modest winters. Snar. Fuck off. I didn't say it like that. I said snow. Not snar. Every time I come on this channel, I'm bullied.
I gotta feed this doggy and give her medicine.
No worries.
Thank you for joining me for this little impromptu hop on and talking about my home with me.
Of course. Anytime.
Thank you for the gals in the chat for being here.
Mwah, mwah. Thank you, ladies.
That.
Probably kiss each and every one of you.
Yeah. Probably Lisa will be streaming tomorrow daytime.
Ooh.
So y'all can check her channel out. And I'm going to try and maybe stream next week as well. So we'll see where we get.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, Enlightened Female. Thanks, Shannon, Ballistic, all the people. Thank you. And thanks, Rusty.
No worries. Bye,
Okay,
ladies.
Bye-bye.